So, what if the real secret to extraordinary growth wasn't some huge, complex formula, but actually just two simple ideas working together? Today, we're going to unlock the power of what I call disciplined simplicity, a force that honestly can fundamentally reshape your life.
You've probably heard this famous line from Hemingway before. It's a chillingly accurate description of how things fall apart, right? Gradually, then suddenly. It's never one big event, but this slow, almost invisible erosion that leads to a sudden collapse. A really powerful way to think about failure.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. What if we just flip that whole idea on its head? What if success works the exact same way? A slow, steady, almost unnoticeable buildup that ends in a breakthrough that seems like it happened overnight. This idea, this right here, is the key that unlocks everything.
To really get this, we need to look under the hood at the engine that drives it all. This isn't about luck, and it's not about some single moment of genius. It's about the relentless, quiet, unstoppable power of compounding.
The compounding effect is really just this simple truth. Success almost never comes from one big, defining moment. Nope, it's the result of tiny habits and small improvements repeated with discipline, day after day after day. Each one of those small actions builds on the last, gathering momentum until the results are just undeniable.
And this is just a brilliant way to picture that gradually, then suddenly nature of growth. Think about an oak tree. For years, it's just a little sapling. The growth is so slow you can barely even see it. But underneath the surface, a massive root system is forming. And then one day, it seems to just explode into this magnificent tree. That sudden part, it was only possible because of the long, gradual part that nobody was watching.
So how do we put this engine to work for us? Well, it starts with a goal that's almost laughably small. What if you just tried to get 1% better each week? I mean, on its own, a single percent is practically nothing. But compounded over a year or over a decade, the effect is absolutely profound.
This creates something called a momentum loop. Let's say you start one tiny habit. Maybe it's just writing 50 words a day. Well, soon, you notice your thoughts are getting clearer. That clarity gives you more confidence in meetings. And that confidence makes you excited to sit down and write again. The habit starts to sustain itself, spilling over and lifting up other areas of your life. That, my friends, is compounding in action.
But okay, if this engine is so powerful, why do so many of us get stuck? Well, there's a hidden enemy that loves to derail our disciplined efforts: the trap of complexity.
You know, as Confucius pointed out centuries ago, we have this weird, natural bias to make things harder than they need to be. We mistake complexity for sophistication. We create these elaborate plans and drown ourselves in jargon because we think it makes us look smart, when all it really does is create confusion.
But then you have someone like the brilliant physicist Richard Feynman, who showed us that true mastery actually works in the total opposite direction. The real sign of deep understanding isn't making something sound complicated, it's being able to explain it so simply that almost anyone can get it. Simplicity isn't a sign of ignorance, it's a sign of real depth.
And Einstein, he gives us the perfect rule of thumb for this. The goal isn't to be simplistic or to get things wrong, it's to have the discipline to strip away every single non-essential part until only the powerful, unadorned truth is left. It's about finding the elegant core of an idea.
Which of course brings us to Steve Jobs, who built an entire empire on this very principle. He proved that simplicity isn't lazy, and it's definitely not easy. It's the result of intense, grueling work, of digging through mountains of complexity to find that one beautiful, intuitive solution. That is the very definition of sophistication.
So here's the crucial point. When we combine that relentless engine of compounding with the piercing clarity of simplicity, we get something new. A powerful operating system for growth, disciplined simplicity.
Let's just look at these two paths side by side. The complex path, it's all about grand plans and waiting around for the perfect motivation. It's loud, it's flashy, and let's be honest, it often fizzles out. But the simple path, that's about small, clear steps taken with relentless consistency. It's about building reliable systems that run whether you feel motivated or not. So, which path do you think builds the oak tree?
You know, this approach also changes how we view challenges. Sticking to simple, disciplined actions, especially during hard times, is what builds real resilience. The hardships aren't roadblocks. As Elizabeth Kubler-Ross said, they are the very opportunities that force us to grow stronger. They are the resistance that builds the muscle.
So how do we actually put disciplined simplicity to work in our own lives? Let's break it down into a few key takeaways you can start using right away.
First, embrace the 1% rule. Just aim for tiny, consistent progress. Second, become a simplicity hunter. Constantly ask yourself, how can I make this simpler? What can I cut away? Third, build systems. Don't just chase goals. Create reliable habits. Fourth, and this is a big one, be patient. You have to trust the gradual part of the process. And finally, never ever forget that compounding is always working. It's a neutral force. It'll multiply whatever you feed it, the good habits and the bad ones.
So, all of that leaves us with one final, crucial question. Forget about changing your entire life tomorrow. Think smaller. Think simpler. What is the one simple, disciplined habit you will start compounding today and let the incredible power of compounding do the rest?